Hi everybody, my name is Ambrielle, also known as Black Mama Vegan on social media, and I have my guest here today with me. You all know him as Baby A. I frequently post about him on Instagram, eating fruit, eating salad, all those other things. So he has a twin and older brother. There's his twin, Baby B. Older brothers, and they're playing a game, and then my daughter is out doing schoolwork. Well, actually she's working. So anyway, that's a little bit about me, but everybody knows I'm married with 4 children. We're a vegan family, and so I like to create lots of different yum recipes. Today we are going to be making an enchilada skillet. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do it as a skillet all in one, and just serve it that way, or you can make the filling and then bake it in the oven as almost like an enchilada lasagna type thing. So I think we're going to do the second option. I think we're going to make the filling all in the skillet, do an all-in-one, and then we're going to transfer it to a baking dish, really just to melt the cheese that we're going to use today for an enchilada lasagna. All right, so all of the ingredients are really simple. As always, when I'm making things, I always tell people, make this your own. So if you want to swap something out, if you don't like something, please feel free to do that. But for our enchilada filling, we're going to be using a sweet potato. I'm gonna hold that up. An onion, a bell pepper, and some black beans. Okay, that is going to be the basis of our filling. If you want to make a side of rice, you can do that. If you want to add rice into this recipe, you could also do that. You could either make your rice in advance and then add it to it, or you could try to put it all in the pot, maybe add a little extra vegetable broth, let it all stew together, and let the rice soak up the liquid from there. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to stick to the basics. I forgot also, for our tortillas, we like these habanero lime. Yeah, they are really good. Habanero lime flour tortillas from Trader Joe's. These have become our favorites, but you can use any type of tortilla that you want. If you want to use corn, use corn. If you want to use a different type of flour, you can get those from anywhere. All right, but this is what we're going to be using today. Okay, so first we are going to start. I've already peeled my onion, as you can see. I've already washed off my sweet potato, so we're just going to chop that down into small pieces. I sometimes peel my sweet potatoes. Other times I don't. It just depends on the type of mood I'm in, I guess, or what I'm making. But you know, the skin, all the fiber and stuff is in the skin too a little bit. So I'm just gonna chop that down, and then I'll show you guys kind of what that looks like. And I would say chop it into 1/4 inch pieces, maybe a little bit smaller. Yeah. Alright. So we're just going to chop down our sweet potato. So make a really good filling. Sweet potatoes, as you know, are good in vitamin A. They're a good source of fiber. Really good for you. Alright. So our sweet potato is chopped, and I will show you guys what that looks like. Right there, just kind of cubed up. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with our onion. I'm gonna use about, I would say that would come out to about 1/4 cup of an onion, maybe a 1/2 cup of onion. I really like onion. That's how much I chopped off of the onion. Okay, that's how much is left of the onion. So again, I'm just gonna kind of cube that down to make a really good filling. Okay. Alright, there's that. Next, I'm going to do the bell pepper. You can use red, orange, yellow, whatever you want. This is what we have available here at home. So we are going to use orange. So I don't know if you guys know this little trick, but I cut in the grooves of the pepper, and it makes like a little flower, and then when you go to open it, it opens like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then see, it just kind of peels off, and then you don't have to worry about, oh, onion's getting in my eye. You don't have to worry about the stem, kind of comes off. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and use this whole pepper. So because we are a family of 6, I find that I usually use all of some type of pepper or onion or whatever, because I'm usually making a big skillet. Everybody likes it, that's right. And we rarely have leftovers. So, but this one, this might have leftovers. Maybe just a little bit, since I'm using quite a bit. This filling's gonna be pretty hearty. So I take that pepper, I cut them into little thin slices like this, and then I usually just chop it down, much like the onion and the sweet potato, in kind of smaller cubes.
Cut everything down.
Yep, cut everything down to whatever your liking is. Like I said, I try to chop it down, but still have enough to where it has some texture to it, but not where it's overly chunky. All right, so that pepper is chopped down. I'm not gonna use all of the pepper, so I used maybe about 3/4 of it. Okay, I'm gonna save that a little bit. Somebody might actually eat that plain before the end of the day.
I will.
All right, so I've got all the veggies chopped up. We've got our sweet potato, we've got our onion, and we've got our pepper all chopped up. Okay, so we're gonna transfer that over to our skillet. I use avocado oil if I'm sauteing or frying things in. I don't use oil often. Sometimes I will use tamari or coconut aminos versus using oil, because I try not to use a lot of oil in my diet overall, but today I'm going to go ahead and use this for the sake of using it. But you want to use a high temp cooking oil, so a grapeseed oil, an avocado oil usually are better for cooking, and then maybe an olive oil if you're roasting or baking. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and transfer that over. Just use about a tablespoon and a half. The onion opened up my nostrils. That's why I'm sniffling. All right. So we've got all of our veggies right there. The sweet potato, the onion, and the bell pepper. All right. So we're gonna give that a few minutes to warm up over there on the stove. In the meantime, I'm gonna take my beans. If you have dry beans, of course, use dry beans. That's typically better if they have soaked, usually overnight. I'm all about convenience sometimes too, so I will take this and I will drain the beans, rinse them off so they can be added to the mix once the sweet potatoes and onions and things are cooked through. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. While that oil is warming up. Our beans are drained and rinsed, so we're gonna let those sit. I'm just gonna leave them in the strainer, let those sit, kind of finish draining out in my little hand strainer. Oil should be nice and warm by now. Yeah. All right.
You use oil for the right?
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna add our veggies to the mix. Thank you. All that goodness in there. All right, cool. So baby A helped me put all that in there. I'm using a cast iron skillet. Use any skillet that is available to you. But like I said before, yes, get a spoon, please. have a big enough skillet. Of course, it depends on how many people you're preparing this for. I use my cast iron skillet every day, all the time, because I really like it, even though I have some other ones. But so baby Age is kind of tossing that. For my spices, I will be using, I talk about this all the time on my Instagram, Nana's seasoning. This is from Corey McDaniel, the food architect. I have been using this seasoning for a while. I want to say maybe 2 years. As long as he's had it, I think I've pretty much used it. And so he's rebranded, and now it's all-purpose alkaline seasoning. I really, really love it. So I use this on everything. So I'll be using a little mix of this, some chili powder, smoked paprika, because I put that on everything too. I'll add probably another little touch of garlic to season my mixture. Over there, I'm also going to show you guys how to make a homemade enchilada sauce, because it's really, really, really easy. And again, you know what you're putting in it. You can kind of control the ingredients in it. So that's what I'm going to be using. I don't measure, so just kind of do it to your liking. Okay. Thank you. So I'm adding the Nana seasoning first. Kind of sprinkling that over everything. No. Then I'm using the smoked paprika. And then some chili powder. Move all that over there. I will try to show you guys. Come with me. I'll show you guys what's happening. So baby B just kind of giving that a good, or baby A is giving that a good stir. So we'll let all of that kind of marinate, cook together, let the onions get nice and golden. Let the sweet potatoes get good and tender. Kind of let all that flavor mix together. Okay, I have mine on about between 4 to 5 for a heat. Just to kind of let it slow cook, not cook too fast. I also have a gas stove, so be mindful of the type of stove that you have and how fast it's going to cook. Okay. Sweet potatoes get fairly tender pretty quickly, so they don't need a whole lot. So in the meantime, I'm going to show you the ingredients that I'm going to be using to make the enchilada sauce. Yeah, you can let it sit for a second. Alrighty, so I'm going to be using Earth Balance butter for the butter for the enchilada sauce. Again, it's super simple. You can, and the thing about making enchilada sauce is that you can customize it as well, and kind of put whatever spices and seasonings that you want in it. I might go ahead and make you can make a bulk. I'm just gonna make enough for this recipe. So the little sticks come like this. I'll probably use about a fourth of it just to kind of make my mix. So I'm going to use Earth Balance butter. I'm going to be using this organic flour. Use any flour you want. I also have spelt flour, but I don't have very much of it left. So I'm going to be using this flour. It does not have to be organic. That's just my preference and what I choose to buy. Use any flour. You're only going to need about 2 tablespoons of that. You're also going to be using a chili powder. And you're also going to be using a veggie broth. Okay. Again, I got this from Trader Joe's. You can buy any type of veggie broth that you want. I'm going to be using more of Nana's seasoning, a little bit of smoked paprika. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to show that? A little bit of smoked paprika, and I'm also going to add a little bit of cumin and garlic. Okay, and that's it for the enchilada sauce. So we'll show you how to put it all together.
Show me.
Okay. So. Starting to cook up.
I like to cook the vegetables just combined.
I'll show you guys this really quickly. Come with me. Okay. You can see what's happening in there. It's really starting to cook down. The onions are starting to get more golden. The sweet potatoes are starting to cook down some more. Alright, it's really coming together. Alright, so we're going to get a little fork, test out the sweet potatoes, see how tender they're getting. Okay, I can stick a fork in that one, and I can stick a fork in that one. Alright, so we'll probably give this another 5 minutes, and by that point the sweet potatoes should be really tender. And at that point, once those are tender, then I'm going to add in the black beans, let that all kind of cook together, probably add a little bit more seasoning because the black beans don't have any seasoning on it. So add that profile to it just for, again, for extra texture. Add a little bit more seasoning. Then we'll get into the enchilada sauce. Then we're going to put it all together and then put it in the oven. Alright, so while that's cooking, let's go ahead and start on our enchilada sauce. Okay, you can make it in a pot. You can make it in another skillet. I think I'm going to show you guys in my pot since that's right here and it's easily accessible. So let's get that going right here. So again, we're going to use some butter. I'm using Earth Balance. I have a little bit of garlic, banana seasoning, chili powder, cumin, veggie broth, and a little bit of flour. Okay. So for your butter, like I said, you're going to use maybe about 2 tablespoons, which is about 1/4 of the little blocks. So this is about 2 tablespoons. You can see that. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and turn that burner on low.
Oh, you're gonna let the butter melt.
Nope, take the butter out, put that in the pot.
And then it'll just start melting. It melts really fast.
Yeah, it does melt fast. Butter melts really fast. Alright, I'm turning down my sweet potatoes and onion mixture so it doesn't burn.
Can I move it?
Well, I'll make the enchilada sauce. No, just let it
I'm
go.
like this.
Move that handle out so it doesn't. Nice. It's really starting to cook down. So we'll turn that on low. So we've got 2 tablespoons of the butter. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of flour. 2 tablespoons of flour. Again, whatever flour you choose. Okay. And when you have your flour and your butter together, you're just going to whisk that really quickly. Oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot one thing, your tomato paste. You're also going to use a tomato paste if you have that accessible to you. If you don't have tomato paste, you could use tomato sauce if you needed to. Tomato paste has a little higher iron content and kind of can spread a little bit easier for you to break down. But if you don't have that, again, you can always use tomato sauce if you need to. All right. So that is what we're going to be using for this demonstration. All right. So I've got the butter and the flour. Go ahead and turn that up some so that can start melting. Is it melting down?
Yes, it is.
Good.
Trying to get it into the flour.
All right. And so it's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and add in my tomato paste. I'm going to let that cook down a little bit more. I'm going to add in my tomato paste, and then I'm going to add in my broth and bring it all together.
Oh, you're going to add that wet stuff.
Yeah. And this is a 6-ounce can. I'm just going to go ahead and add all of it, just so we have enough. We're going to add some enchilada sauce to the filling, and then I'm going to put some in between the layers too. So make sure we have enough. I'll go ahead and use all of that.
Smells good. veggie form.
There we go.
Are you what?
Go
Why do you
ahead
have the
and
veggie
stir
part
that.
to like make it thin?
Yeah, it was supposed to be thin. You want it to be thin. Alright.
I'm coming this
So start with about 1/4 of a cup and then add more, or start with about 1/4 of a cup, half a cup, I'm sorry. Start with about a half a cup of veggie broth and then just kind of add it in to thin it out. And then again, go ahead and add your seasonings and spices in there. So I'm adding my garlic, I'm adding my Nana seasoning, adding my chili powder, adding a little smoked paprika, alright, it's still fairly thick, so I'm going to add more veggie broth to thin it out. Again, depends on how much enchilada sauce you want to make. Okay, I'm making enough to cover it to make it like a lasagna. If you want just enough for, you know, a single serving, then I would say maybe, you know, the 2 tablespoons of flour with the 2 tablespoons of butter with maybe a 1/4 of a can of tomato sauce, and just kind of adjust your seasoning as you need to. But because, like I said, I want enough, I went on and used the whole can of tomato paste, and then I'm adding in a little bit of cumin too.
I've never seen you make anything like this, and all this.
Yeah. Alright. Keep stirring, thank you. Alright, I'm going to come around you, add some more veggie broth.
Just thin it out.
You want to thin it out. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to add in a little, give it a little taste. It tastes like enchilada sauce.
Can I try?
I'm going to add a little bit of salt. This is just my Himalayan pink salt. So I'm going to do about a pinch. And another pinch. Alright, mix that in.
Can I taste it?
Yep, let's get that salt mixed in there. Alrighty, let me do another taste. Wow. That tastes exactly like enchilada sauce. Alright. Again, depends on how thin you want it. So at this point I've added probably about 1.5 cups of veggie broth, but again that's because I've used this entire 6-ounce can of tomato paste.
We need to
Alright?
thin it out a lot.
Alright, so our potatoes, onions, and peppers have cooked down. We are now going to add in our black beans to the mix. So black beans go in the skillet. All goes in there together. Gonna mix that around. Yeah, thank you.
Black beans with veggie.
Yeah. So we've got our black beans, we've got sweet potato, we've got onion, we've got some bell pepper, and we've got this amazing homemade enchilada sauce that took all of what, like 2 or 3 minutes? Like that? Alright. Now that I've added the black beans, I'm going to give this a couple of pinches of pink salt just to add that flavor profile in there. The rest of the dish. Alright, I'm going to give this a little taste test. So I've got a little bit of black bean on there, a little sweet potato. Amazing. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more Nana seasoning because I just love it. Another dash of chili powder. And another dash of a little bit of pink salt and garlic. Then you're going to adjust your seasonings as you go. Okay?
As you go.
As you go. Okay. So that's all mixed together. I'm going to take a little bit of my enchilada sauce
And mix it.
and just just pour it in to my mixture. Just a little bit. I would say, when I say a little bit, to quantify it, I would say I just mix in maybe about 1/4 of a cup. Make that kind of creamy. All right, so now that filling is kind of creamy. At this point, you can add in a little bit of cheese if you want with your filling. I'm using diet cheese. I know some people feel some sort of way about it. I did too. They changed their formula and I love it. I don't know what they did, but I like it so much better than what they did before. So that is what I'll be using. Diet cheese is pretty readily available at most retailers as well at this point. More people are offering more vegan options. So I added maybe about 1/4 of a cup of diet cheese to the sweet potato bean mixture. I'm gonna mix that in, just kind of let it melt down a little bit with that in there. Okay, I'll let you try to see that. Okay. Kind of cooking together. See how it's starting to get stringy in there? Melt that down.
Stringy? I didn't know it would get like that. Oh, you cheese.
Okay. Nice, healthy, whole foods enchilada mix. Okay. So now we're going to move everything over and we're gonna layer it in our baking dish, and then we're gonna bake it. Have a little cheese on top.
That I think is gonna be.
You think it's gonna be good?
That's tortilla too.
And that's it. Great meal for Taco Tuesday or any other day of the week. Okay, I'm gonna use these 3 big ones and we can start from there. All right. I am using an 8x8 dish, so it's gonna be more of a deep kind of enchilada lasagna versus a 9x13. I'm gonna spray the bottom of my dish a little bit so it doesn't stick. And I'm just using an olive oil spray from Trader Joe's. Okay. So layer it how you like. Some people, when they're making like a lasagna or whatever, they put the filling down first, and then the tortilla or the noodles. I'm gonna do a little enchilada sauce in the dish to start with, just a little bit. You could also use that instead of spraying it if you wanted to, if you didn't have spray available. I'm actually gonna start and put one of these tortillas down at the bottom of my dish, like that. And then I'm gonna toss in some filling, so you guys can see. Potatoes are nice and tender. I'm just kind of throwing in that filling. Okay, I'm gonna kind of spread that out. Okay, so that's one layer. I'm gonna put another tortilla on top. And you can also cut these, so you could cut them so they're more like strips if you wanted to.
That
Looks good.
amazing.
There's my second layer.
This on top?
Yep. We're putting the third tortilla on top of that one. And then we're just gonna take all the rest of our filling and dump it up on top.
So it's 3 layers or 4 layers?
It's 3 layers. All right. Almost, yep. Take that filling and put it up on top. Then once you have all your filling in there, you can take your enchilada sauce and just kind of pour it on top. You could have poured it layer by layer also, but again, because it's like an enchilada, typically when you make your enchiladas and roll them up, you put the sauce on top.
It's almost 30 minutes.
All right. So the enchilada sauce is on top. We're gonna add a little bit more Daiya cheese. And there you go. So I'm gonna cover this with some foil, put it in the oven. My oven is set at 425. Gonna broil it or bake it for maybe 10 minutes or so. Take it out. Everything's already cooked. We're just kind of warming up the tortillas, melting the cheese. If you wanted to just do this in your skillet, you could have left everything in there, maybe cut up the tortilla in little pieces, put the tortilla on top, put some cheese on top, stuck it in your oven on broil, again, for maybe about 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes to let that cheese melt. Take it out, and you've got a 1 skillet enchilada. So you can do it all in 1 skillet. You can transfer it to a dish and layer it almost like a enchilada lasagna, however you choose. So I hope that you enjoyed this recipe. And my assistant, you wanna say bye?
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this recipe. It's really easy and fun, and we'll see you next time. Take care.